So my name's Shailen Tailor. I'm currently a 5th year apprentice working for Jaguar Land Rover. So it's a 6-year scheme in which I am studying but also working full-time with them in a specific department. So this is going to be the high-level apprenticeship where I'm taking on board a degree as well. So as well as learning vocational courses such as like hands-on experience, as well as NVQs, we're also performing a bachelor's degree as part of the course. My job role is standards and controls. We look at new technologies which go into the body and white part of the facility, as well as trim and vinyl now. We're developing that. So any new technologies, whether it be a new robot or a new welding equipment or anything like that, anything to do with standardization, we take that equipment in and we review it and test it before it goes into the manufacturing facilities. So we take a lot of their studies from university and things that they've been working on to try and prove it for the manufacturing world. So we have that intermediate stage of an idea, and then we sort of bring that forwards and with their help develop it into a production solution. But it is a challenge because we're always trying to find new solutions quite quickly to keep up with the market as well as our competitors. So it's always a matter of trying to find the newest solution which is robust enough to put in a manufacturing environment without putting in something which might fail. We've got to be careful about what technologies we choose and adopt so early on. I quite like the approach actually. It's similar to what apprenticeships are trying to achieve. However, it's starting a bit early on in terms of once the students have finished at college and they're learning some content about the real world. So the ideas of Industry 4.0, the technologies involved around manufacturing and engineering, they're being brought up front instead of being completely unknown about it. Quite a lot of places and students, they don't understand the concept of industry and engineering until they get there or until they've completed their degree. So this bridging, I think it bridges the ideas of basic academics as well as the work environment in a way which the students can then be more aware of what happens when they get into the workplace, especially when choosing engineering. I think because of how quickly things are changing and the skills which are required are changing to a more digital world rather than a hands-on manual environment, we definitely need to have these sort of continuous learning, and the modules which we've seen and presented to us, so that's the robotics, the materials, which is a big thing now. We've already showcased the fact that we can make a very light car from one material, but now it's about learning and understanding that different materials have the right properties for right areas in a car or in a product. And we need to go back into that and think to ourselves, we need to use the right materials in the right places. And the last one, which is the connected interfaces, which is part of this course that we spent over the past couple of days, that's really important to get into the idea of Industry 4.0 and a connected world where all the manufacturing sites are actually feeding and learning from each other. So there's a lot of development, and being able to do this learning on the fly as well as learning continuously is definitely important for the automotive industry. I'd say the most interesting lesson for me was the augmented realities, as well as the train infrastructure. So how ICT is pulling forward for fast movement of trains. It's a completely different industry from what I was used to, or I am used to. So it's interesting to understand how they're using IT to progress in that environment, and also giving ideas about how the automotive industry can learn from the rail networks, about how they move forward about using faster networking and also the deep learning course as well. I think in some cases, yes, because I'm currently studying a degree, there is some overlap of what was being learned in the degree university course as well as the Skillman.eu project. But there are some areas like the neural networks and the deep learning and also the ideas about the rail, which we don't come across that often. So those are the areas which were of particular interest, and I wouldn't have come across that before if I didn't come into the Skillman sort of proposal.